This is Mayor Oliver Gilbert, and we've gone virtual. Now, while we're staying at home, I wanted to make sure that the activities that we enjoy together as a community could be brought to you online. Join me for Mental Health Moments with Dr. Tasha. Let's talk.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Tasha with a little more drive-by therapy. Are you ready? Okay, so we have a few things to actually talk about today. Thank you to everyone that sent in any questions. You are free to do so for what we talk about next week, or even right now. If you're listening to us live, you can send in those questions, and I will do my best to answer them now. So let's talk about first responders right now. First of all, for those that are actually first responders or the essential workers right now, I want to first tell you in the way that I like to say, make sure that you're taking care of yourself and make sure that you're not having this Jesus complex or God complex that is saying to yourself, I have to do this, and if I don't, then nothing, right? The person will, or and not giving yourself a break. Let me tell you why I say this. Have we seen that in this week that we had an director in New York that actually committed suicide? Meaning there was someone that was on the front lines, right? And they weren't taking care of themselves, even when they were in a place of being overwhelmed because of course, all of this death that is around us. So for you first responders, for you essential workers, if you're getting overwhelmed, be honest with yourself and just take a break. Go part-time. Go in the next day. Say, I just can't do it today. I'm having a hard time with it, right? Don't push yourself past the place of sanity. That makes sense? Okay, now for those of us that want to say thank you to these responders or want to figure out what can we do for our first responders, I'm glad you asked. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask them how we're doing if they want to tell us. And then guess what we're going to do? Once they tell us, we are going to also not give any advice, not give any feedback, and just let them vent. You got that? Now, let me give you the opposite thing that we're going to do. We're also not going to require them to tell us anything going on because they may be over it. I know one of the things that, if you think about it, do you think a chef really wants to come home and talk about food? Nope. Not really. So if it's possible that there are trauma nurses and ER doctors or grocery store workers or maintenance men that are in those clinics, right? They may not want to talk about all the things they saw. So then we talk about something else. So it is your job to show your appreciation by possibly entertaining them with other topics that have nothing to do with the coronavirus. That makes sense? Okay. Let's go to something new. Senior citizens, right? So we have plenty of our elderly that are in nursing facilities. We have plenty of folks that we are not able to see because they are either in other states or other cities. And the worst thing is that we right now can't travel to them, right? And we're told to stay in the house. What can we do for them? Okay, so there's a thing that we call a cell phone. And there is an icon on this cell phone that if you hit it, guess what happens? It actually looks like a phone. And if you hit it, it calls people. Imagine that. You can actually call people on your phone. Who would have thought? When you call them, guess what happens? The person on the other end actually feels thought of. Now, why do I say it like that? Because we're doing a lot of texting. So let's try to make up in our mind in the month of May. Okay, you guys ready for this? This is going to be your May homework that you are going to not text anyone that is older than 60 years old. Can I say it like that? We're going to not text anyone that is older than 60 years old. We're going to call them and we're going to make them feel heard, acknowledged, all the things that the texting at times does not do. And I have heard my elderly folks to complain about their grandchildren texting them, or even their children texting them and not calling or stopping by, right? And giving that high five, or as we the COVID high five that can't touch. Maybe just making the drive by. Okay, you guys got that for senior citizens? And let's see another thing that we can do for them. Oh, cook for them. So, of course, for those that can cook, okay? For those that cannot, I want you to get those cold drinks, right? And just lay them right there on the porch, okay? Or lay them right there with the receptionist, and they will get those cold drinks. For those that can cook, okay, come on. Try something new. send it over there. They may enjoy it, right? It's possible that the facility is only serving the same chicken and rice, and you know how to make lasagna. Imagine that. Or the beans without the onions, okay? Or anything that has the kind of that bland taste. You can then bring in whatever it is that you do in your kitchen. So, even being able to serve and give from your kitchen to theirs would also make them feel great, okay? You guys taking notes? All right, here we go. How can I? This was a wonderful thank you staff that was in at the City of Miami Gardens. They actually came up with some great questions for you guys today. Okay, so the question is, how can I be kinder to myself? How can I be kind to myself? Okay, let's see how we can do this. Number one, let's not be as self-critical as we always have been, and kind of give yourself a pass. Do you know what that means? That means that there are times that your standard is here, right? And then until you hit that standard, then you're not enough. However, the standard might be kind of unrealistic for right now. Having these short-term goals and giving yourself that kind of like, attaboy, attagirl, there you go, well done. That can actually help your sense of self. Hearing praise and encouragement from yourself, okay? And then sometimes we're not even needing it from others. Let's see what else. Taking time to rejuvenate or relax. This is how we can be kinder to ourselves. Now, it kind of might sound kind of like elementary, but I'm gonna take it all the way back to what we used to do as little kids, and that was taking a bath. Now, I know how much fun it is to get into the hot tub right when we go out of town on vacation. But it's possible that that tub right there, instead of getting in the shower and literally just standing up and taking care of all your parts, I mean, just actually sitting, putting the either music on, maybe having candles, something that actually keeps you into a place of calm and relaxation. It's not a crime to take a bath. I know that sounds so small, but like it's a big deal sometimes when you actually do nothing in the water and then tell the family, give me 15 minutes, give me 30 minutes. And then you come out smelling so good. And possibly if you have a spouse that is liking the way you smell, maybe we can do something else that could be kind to ourselves, which could be that stress relief that would be horizontal. Can I say it like that? Horizontal stress relief. Okay, let's go. Next one. Putting your interests first. So this is something that is really interesting. A lot of times when we're not being kind to ourselves, we put everybody else first. But then when you put yourself first, you kind of maybe feel like kind of ashamed or guilty. But I want to give you permission to do it today. Do it this week. Again, we're going to do May homework. April's behind us. What can we do differently coming up since we are still kind of in the house for another month? So you're going to put your interests first. Now, think about this. This could even be in terms of television. Now, we're not talking about hogging the remote, but I am saying it's possible that you just watch your show, right? And tell the kids to step out because it's a rated R movie. That's how I believe things should be. Or tell the kids, that, give mom or give dad 30 minutes because I just want to watch this in peace. And peace and quiet. And there's nothing wrong with that. Putting your interest first would also be, it could be reading, right? And so you haven't finished reading this book that you started way back, maybe in the early part of February, and you now want to finally get back to it. Taking that time to make sure that you read because actually it makes you feel good. It's not selfish. As long as it's not excessive and that you're also bringing in the others and it's not a selfish thing. This is big. Laughing at yourself. Okay, so I do it all the time if y'all can't tell. Okay, so I literally laugh at myself when I say crazy things out loud. I'm like, did I say that out loud? I did. And it's okay because I'm giving myself permission to not have to be perfect. Hello, perfectionists that are listening. You know who you are. You know who you are. I wish I could see through this screen and you can see that I know it's you. And then you change just like that. Sometimes perfectionism goes back to that other place I was talking about of being so self-critical that you just ain't no good for nobody. Okay. And truly, it's kind of cool to have a little imperfection and to actually accept that, which we're going to talk about later about self-acceptance and self-esteem. Anything else? Oh, how can you be kinder to yourself? Smile more. So let's talk about what that looks like if you haven't smiled in a minute. So go into the mirror and actually putting on this face that brings some sense of warmth. Because did you know it takes more muscles to actually frown? I mean, literally, it takes more muscles, more energy for you to actually frown than smile. Look it up. I promise. I'm not lying to you right now. Okay. And lastly, negative thoughts. I want you to start talking to yourself positively. That means affirming yourself, encouraging yourself. Of course, saying that if you get something wrong, then that it's okay and I'm going to get better. That would be the same as if you're talking to your kids that get something wrong. This is a big deal, parents, as you are irritated and frustrated with doing all this homework and classwork. Even saying again to them, it's okay. We're going to get this, right? It's the same thing, kind of coaching yourself as well as in those in your family. Okay, let's go to the next one. How can the whole family be mindful? So this is kind of an idea of mindfulness. Mindfulness is really kind of like really slowing everything down and taking all of these things in, like all of your senses. Now, let me tell you how this looks at the dinner table. We don't do this here in America because we kind of eat. I don't know if anybody has ever heard about this militant way you eat, that you kind of have boot camp and then they give you a whole 10 minutes to eat a whole meal. And so you don't even chew, you just literally right? Inhale like you're a vacuum and it just goes down. I am giving you permission to put the fork down. I'm talking about as you eat, chewing your bites, putting your fork down and having a conversation with everybody that's at the table. This is called mindful eating. That's to slow down the actual kind of what would it be? The intake. Now, while you're eating, there's a way to mindfully eat. Take it in. You ever like really like enjoyed something, right? And in its full self, and then you're not just like eating, you know how we put it on our mouth and then we're already ready. The next bite is already here. Like, what are we doing? Slow it down. Let's try to find a way to mindfully eat. Now, mindfully talk to each other. Y'all ready for this? Dr. Tasha, what are you talking about? How in the world can I put together mindfulness and conversation? I'm glad you asked. Listening. Mhm. You're not having to do all the talking. You're not having to do all the entertaining. You're actually going to listen. And you're not going to listen to talk because we know how we do. We're going to actively listen in a way that we're actually taking it in what they're saying. That is an actual conversation. And then not only talking about yourself, narcissist, talking to them, whoever you're talking to, about whatever it is that they're sharing. You know what I mean? It's crazy that someone says, "Oh, I have it. I'm from New York, right?" And then you say, "Oh, I got an aunt that lives in New York." No one cares. No one cares. That's the true narcissist or traits of a narcissist, right? I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, but the idea is just because someone shares something that you're ready to talk about yourself, just listen to them and share what it is that comes to mind about them. I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever to allow someone else to feel heard. This is how we have a mindful conversation. Okay, let's see. What's another way? I thought about this. Now, earlier I did say for those that struggle with being kind to themselves, watch a TV show by yourself and it's okay and not feel guilty. But this one, in terms of the family, is watching television or picking a TV show that actually everybody can enjoy. Everybody. I mean, everybody. Down to what could it be? Shrek. Is that what we can do? We can just watch Shrek and laugh. And it's not bad. It's called a family TV show for a reason. I think they have the little icons on the side and you can figure out, is this program appropriate? And then that would be a way of having family time without what? The phone. Literally, you can actually say, "Hey, there's a basket. If you can put your phone face down," meaning we don't care about the vibration of the phone, just for an hour. Try it. Have a non-technology hour in your household. It'll be amazing. You guys might actually find out that you actually love each other or like each other. Liking sometimes is harder than loving, but we can get better at that when we all don't have phones in our hands. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Oh, alternative ways to cope, right? Because a lot of us are doing the same thing, social media and Netflix, right? Or even working too much, which we'll talk about later about how to step away from working too much. So alternative ways of coping is sometimes just going outside and taking in the sun and doing what? Saying hello to the neighbors, not hugging the neighbors, right? Social distancing, but actually speaking pleasantly, not with the rolled eye. You know how we do when we're talking about folks behind, their back, and we kind of like say it like this, like, "How you doing?" No, we're not talking about being fake. We're talking about being authentically, genuinely compassionate and pleasant. These are things you're going to do. This is how you're going to cope with life that has changed. You're going to be nicer. You can do this. I know. Okay, let's go. Eliminating outside distractions. Oh boy. So my brain went a mile a minute when it came to this question because I thought about this. For those that are single, we'll say that, and we're going through the phone and calling folks that we haven't talked to in a while, and we're calling exes. That's not productive. There's a reason that they're your exes, and you're going to find out within a few weeks. And so I want to encourage you to push forward. Don't go backwards. Eliminating distractions may mean to not go back into that Rolodex, okay? And don't bring out the woodwork, right? The woodwork, keep the woodwork in the woodwork. Okay, what else can we do? For those that, ooh, this is deep. Eliminating outside distractions. I gotta say it. If about 50% of most people, individuals in marriages or in relationships, and I said 50 and not just men, sometimes women, not sometimes, many times, right? Women just don't get caught. Let's talk about fidelity. This is one of the biggest things happening right now. And people that call my phone, and we're talking about real things right here, right? Relationships, long-term relationships or marriage, depending on what you call it, like lifetime partnerships. Folks are calling me because the D word came up, right? Divorce, right? We do not like each other right now sometimes because we're just not having a break. I want to tell those who are looking outside of their relationship to come on back. Yeah, we're getting real today. So I'm talking about folks on the side. I'm talking about maybe that colleague that you used to talk to when your spouse was not around at work. I'm talking about eliminating outside distractions, maybe your side pieces. It's a real thing. I want you to prioritize the monogamy. I want you to prioritize the vow that you said 10 years ago, that you said 20 years ago. It's you're gonna feel better about it. I'm serious. I'm saying, hey, you didn't get caught yet? Go back to possibly putting your spouse first, right? A lot of times we step out because of what we're actually looking for in our relationship and start having difficult conversations. That actually can be the anti way of being bored and the anti way of coping, and that could actually be having difficult conversations with your spouse. That's all right. Okay, let's see what else we can do. Outside distractions, social media. Stop lurking. I mean, scrolling with wrong motives. You know, the young folks call it lurking. Stalking, old school, we said. The idea is that you're doing this competition thing with social media and it's not helping you. It's a real thing. I want you to, how can I say, take pride in what you have. And I know sometimes it's hard because we look at the screen and we see the family that looks so happy, and you're wondering, why can't we be in the same rhythm in our home? Um, don't compare. Take pride in what you have. And actually, going back to what I said earlier, finding ways to laugh. I know it sounds small, but start laughing at yourself. It might even become contagious in your household. Okay, those that are isolating themselves. I don't know if it's because you're an introvert. I don't know if it's because you are antisocial, but I want you to challenge yourself to go back out there, right? Try your best to initiate some conversations and say what you're thinking. One thing I've learned about the introvert is that you guys see everything and you're thinking it, you just don't share it. We extroverts, we sometimes are even thinking aloud and it gets on your nerves. I know. But I'm asking you to actually share what it is that you're thinking. It's possible that you can even help with that dynamic in terms of bringing balance to your household, those of you that isolate. Let's do another one. How do we stay present? Okay. Present is something that actually does take work. I know that sounds crazy, right? Because we're in the present. So it's just like, don't we just feel the present? Isn't it easy? No, it's not. Because guess what we do? We think about the past and we think about the future. What do we call that? Depression and anxiety. Yes, I know depression is not that simply said, but I like to say it has to do with ruminating in the old or dwelling in your past. Every time you think about the past, that's what brings all these depressive thoughts. And guess what happens? Every time we think about the future, the unknown, all those things that we cannot control, that's what brings on the worry. So the way to cope with our anxiety and our depression would be to stay present. How do we do that? Breathing. We talked about that last time. Finding ways to find gratitude in what you have, what you are, affirming yourself. That goes back to that self-acceptance. That is a huge, as an adult, as a teenager, as a child. Let's see. How do we stay in the present? Oh, I forgot that it actually has to do with not. Okay, this is only to the control freaks, right? Only the control freaks. You know who you are because you are struggling without being able to plan a thing right now. Okay, I'm talking to you. What if you just got to a point of truly accepting the things that you cannot change and knowing that you can plan, but then releasing this level of control right now? Practice it right now. I'm actually asking you to do this for your own sanity. I'm asking you to do this for your own heartbeat. I'm asking you to do this for probably the years that could be added on to your life. I mean, really, a lot of times when we have this level of control that we think we have, that we actually are so hard on ourselves when things don't go right. And so, how cool will it be if you just actually like, you know what? I'm doing the best I can, right? I'm showing up in my relationship, giving my best. I'm showing up as a parent, giving my best. I'm showing up as a teenager and giving my best. I'm showing up as a grandma and a grandpa, doing my best. And that is all you can give. And then you can release control. Okay, I'm giving you permission to release the control. Now, here we go. How do we disconnect from work? hmm Now, when I saw this question, my first thought was, they want me to work miracles in these 30 minutes. Um, I am not Jesus. Okay. Now, let me tell you why I say that. Because if you are having trouble disconnecting from work right now during the quarantine time, I kind of want to go out on a limb and say that you probably were having a trouble disconnecting from work February, January, December, November, October, September. Should I go back to 1995, 96, 97, 98? And let me tell you why, Mr. Workaholic and Mrs. Workaholic. Let me tell you about yourself. It's possible, and this is something that really, this is why I like to do therapy, because there's reasons why we do the things that we do. For instance, sometimes we actually consume ourselves with work because it does what? It makes us feel important. You know, when you feel important, then you show up. Isn't it crazy? And then when you don't, sometimes you kind of don't show up. Let me tell you what else work does. Work gives you this validation that sometimes home doesn't. I know a lot of times, for sure, I've heard a lot of men specifically, or fathers or husbands, talk about how they don't feel respected in their home, but they feel respected at work. Message. Um, why also do we why don't we disconnect from work? That would be because we like to appear busy. hmm Why do we like to appear busy? I just heard from one of my patients earlier today. She said, she literally said this. I was like, oh, I never heard about this phrase. Being fake busy, always, what would we call it? Just always staying busy and maybe not always accomplishing everything that we set out. So you actually are a busybody, right? So you can't disconnect from work because you actually don't want to do what it is that may be significant. So you're being avoidant. Disconnecting from work actually might help you to do the things that symbolize, I don't know, love and respect and care, and pride, a healthy sense of pride in your home. And then the last thing, but of course it's different now that we're quarantining, has to do with the house, right? A lot of people that are workaholics is because they don't want to come home. Now that you're home, what you going to do? You're going to stay home and you're going to take pride in what you have, right? And just pray for more, but do right by what you have, even if it's little. I'm really saying this because it's really a big deal when you can start feeling truly grateful for what little that you have in hopes to get more. And I think God does something with that. Lastly, or maybe we could do a few more, but this has to do with self-acceptance. Okay. Let's talk about self-acceptance. Oh boy. Self-acceptance is pretty extensive, right? It actually can take on everything that's hard. It's difficult at times to accept ourselves if we see ourselves as imperfect. Now, what do you mean by imperfect? Actually, we're all perfectly imperfect. All of us are imperfect. However, you're only seeing your flaws when you think of yourself. I mean, literally, in the mirror, you think about it. Go to the mirror right now. Well, maybe not right now, but in about 5 minutes, right? When I'm done. And think about what's the first thing that comes to mind? What's wrong with you or what's right with you? hmm Let me tell you what it is. It's going to be what's wrong with you. You know why? Because there's a negative bias in our brain. Negative bias in our brain. That means our brain goes to the what's wrong first. All of us. So we have to retrain and recondition ourselves to actually think about something positive. I mean, isn't that crazy that we have to work to think positive about ourselves? Let me tell you how I know what I'm saying is true. Say you have a birthday party and you invite 50 people and 49 people come. What you do by the end of the night? You are thinking about the one cousin that didn't make it that said they would. Why? Because of the negative bias of your brain. Why are we not going to bed thinking that, wow, oh my God, that was such a great party? But we're saying, oh wow, that was such a great party, but I wonder what happened to Leroy. I mean, really? Leroy has that much pull? No, that's literally what we're conditioned to do. So that was a strong analogy, hopefully, for you to then look in the mirror and on purpose, you get what I'm saying? On purpose to think about what's right instead of thinking about what's wrong. Now, let me tell you what's right with yourself, okay? Meaning, I don't know. I love my freckles. I love my stretch marks. Oh, I can say stretch marks. We can say stretch marks on the web page of City of Miami Gardens. We can talk about stretch marks. We can talk about cellulite or cellulite, depending. Okay, great. We're gonna talk about loving those love handles, men and women. Okay, loving them. I mean, like, give them a name. You know what I mean? Like, these are yours. I mean, you earned these, and you remember what year it was, but Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthday, cruise ship, that you developed all of this. And I'm talking about literally saying, I like these things about myself, or they are all right with me, and I'm going to try my best to maybe eliminate them a little bit. But right now, until they go, I'm okay with them. Or if they never go, I'm okay with them. I'm talking about your eyes, the way that you wish they were the same color of your sister, that everybody else said was pretty, but they didn't say you was pretty. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about there's nothing wrong with your eyes. I'm talking about your nose, that long nose or that large nose, that beautiful brown, black nose that you have. I'm talking about liking that, right? This is going to develop this self-esteem. I mean, go and stare at yourself. I'm literally not telling you this just to hear myself talk. I'm saying be intentional. And at some point, if your age is 60 or 16, I want you to really find a way that in this quarantine time, I'm going to come out better. Like, you make up in your mind that your self-esteem is going to be better than when it started. Okay. And this is just an idea that can actually work. Affirming yourself, verbalizing positive things about yourself, or even verbalizing positive things about your family, right? Because we always can figure out what's wrong with everybody else and think about what actually is right with them. Wow, she sure know how to talk a lot, but she sure can cook, right? Or every time, I don't know, every time they come over here, they don't ever leave, right? We all know those guests, but I love how they always come and check on us. There's always a way to replace these negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and it literally will lighten your load. Sometimes every day we're just carrying so much, like, we're just so heavy. I mean, literally heavy, but we're emotionally heavy. We're psychologically heavy. We're like mentally heavy. And so obviously I'm pro therapy, but it could literally be beyond just a therapist. It could be anybody that you trust in your life that you just want to share the things that you're going to do different. I mean, really, you're going to do different today. You can do this. Don't just listen to me and just like, oh, that Dr. Tasha, she's crazy. No, she's crazy, and let me go to the mirror. That's what I want the response to be. Or she's crazy, and let me talk to my spouse about the things that I've been wanting to talk about for so many years, because I want to let go of this resentment that is killing me, that's eating up at me. I mean, you literally can lighten the load between now and hopefully, Lord knows, June. We all hoping for just one more month of this, right? But we have 30 days. 30 days is what it takes to what? Build a new habit. Change your lifestyle, and then it becomes who you are. Literally, 21 days to 30 days, you can read a book, but I know that's exactly what they say. The point is doing something consistently where it actually is who you are, not what you want to be, is what you're doing. And let me see. There was one other thing I wanted to share with everybody, and that was becoming this minimalist. Okay, I've been talking about this a lot this week, but I really want you to find ways to be satisfied. Okay, find ways to literally see what it is that you have in your mind, what you're lacking also, as well as what you are hoping for. There's nothing wrong with dreams, right? But I really want you to really tell yourself that you're going to find ways to be content, right? You're going to slow down life just a little bit and find a way for you to hit this place of contentment that will become contagious in your household. Y'all, this was Drive-By Therapy. Thank you, City of Miami Gardens. Thank you, Mayor Oliver. Thank you, all the producers and the staff that is behind all of these wonderful videos to get into their living rooms. And I'll see you guys next week, y'all. My name is Dr. Tasha, and what is it? You can do this. You got this? You can do this. Be mindful. Stay mindful.
I hope you enjoyed today's session. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook Live for a mental health moment with Dr. Tasha. If you want to view the session again, visit cmgengage.com/virtual. I'll see you next week.